him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters. And during his recent chat with Ultimate Guitar, Öyster cult singer and guitarist Buck Dharma looked back on the tour in 1980 that they did with Black Sabbath, the Black and Blue tour. He said, "We were big fans of Black Sabbath, and the reason that tour came about is because for a short time our manager and mentor, Sandy Pearlman, was managing Black Sabbath. So that's how that paired happened. It was a good bill. And for the tour, Sabbath was promoting their Heaven and Hell album, while Öyster Cult was supporting my favorite Öyster Cult album, Cultosaurus Erectus, both of which happened to be produced by Martin Birch. However, Dharma also admitted that he and the co-headliners didn't exactly see eye to eye, nor get along particularly well. He said, "We would alternate the headlining thing. I think the Sabs didn't think that we should headline at all, but we did. They were kind of standoffish, and we were friendly with Ronnie Dio because we knew him previously, and we had some interaction with Ozzy previously in the old Sabbath days. I don't think they were very happy on that tour. I'm just speculating." Dharma also pointed out that at least one show was professionally documented, thankfully. He said there was a live video of it, which has sort of been unavailable, which indicates how it went. It's good to watch that video if you can and see both bands how they did. What Dharma is referring to is the 1981 concert film Black and Blue, which included highlights from both act sets filmed on the tour stop on October 17, 1980 at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, New York. And while the film would later be issued as a home video, it is yet to be made to a DVD release. Yeah, that is true. And you know, back when that movie first came out, I saw it in the theater. The Village Theater would have midnight movies. I remember seeing Led Zeppelin song Made the Same, Richard Pryor in concert, a bunch of, Kids Are All Right, The Who, a bunch of like rock and roll movies were shown there at midnight. And one time I went there and they were showing Black and Blue. And this was back in, man, it had to be 80 or maybe early 81. I know it was when it was first released. And it's an odd movie, you know. I mean, it's awesome to have. It is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I think the editing's all screwed up, and I don't know. The editing's pretty, and you know and there's a video for the Marshall Plan in the concert. It should have been all live, if you ask me, but it's just snippets of both bands. It's not the full show of either band, though that would be awesome if they would release, the full show of both, and release it separately. Here's the Black Sabbath one, here's the Öyster Cult one, or put it in a package where you get both together. That would be amazing. But yeah, it is an amazing video, even though the editing is all screwed up. I absolutely love Black and Blue, and I do have it. A burn of it on DVD from a Japanese Laserdisc. So maybe that's the best copy you can probably get out there. I never did own it on VHS, but I was a video trader back in the day, and yeah, I got that way back in the 80s. Trading it with somebody who was like, "Oh, Black and Blue, man." I remember seeing it in the theater. And yeah, I had myself a copy of it. And when the Black Sabbath tour came down to Florida, South Florida, it wasn't with Öyster Cult. I was there, man, and it was with the Johnny Van Zant Band and Riot on the Narita tour. First time I ever heard of Riot was seeing them at that show, and I had to have Narita, and became a huge fan of Riot starting that night. And I bought the Johnny Van Zant band, Only the Strong Survive. That was that tour, you know. But yeah, Black Sabbath totally blew my mind. My parents wouldn't let me go. Now, the Miami High Life where it was playing at was about, I don't know, 20 minutes on a bus. So I took a bus. I snuck out of the house, took a bus, got there early, saw all three bands, caught the bus back home, and there was my dad waiting for me with a belt. And he hit me really hard with that belt many, many times. And let me tell you something. It was worth every lash he gave me. Because I got to see the Heaven and Hell tour. I also got to see the Mob Rules tour, but I didn't get my ass kicked that night. I actually went to the Mob Rules tour with my brother. So that was legal for me to go to that show, according to my parents. But yeah, but I did see Blue Oyster Cult later on the Fire of Unknown Origins tour, I believe twice. It was opening for Heart at the Miami Baseball Stadium, where the opening act was Motorhead, and it was their first show in the U.S. I've talked about that one before. And then I saw them headline the Hollywood Sportatorium with Foghat and Whitford St. Holmes, which was Brad Whitford and Derek St. Holmes' band, which is an awesome album. Check out Sharpshooter, kick-ass stuff. And it was filmed. MTV was there and filmed, and thanks to my friend who is a regular on the Almost Human Live every Thursday, Tony Dio, hooked me up with the full show of Blue Oyster Cult and Foghat from that night. And as I recall, since it was a very long time ago, damn, already 42, 43 years ago, as I recall, Whitford St. Holmes was filmed too. But that was never released because I remember that Blue Oyster Cult show was shown on MTV, and then later it was shown on this TV show called the Blue Gene Network. So it was shown there for a while as well. So, yeah, I was at that show. That was the first concert I went to that, you know, was professionally filmed. I was also at the Judas Priest British Steel Anniversary show that was released on DVD with the 40th anniversary CD. And I know Heaven and Hell did really well, and it ended up going platinum like many years later. But I remember 1980, which was my favorite year of music. I remember Heaven and Hell was promoted really good. I mean, I heard Neon Nights and Heaven and Hell on the radio, and Children of the Sea and Die Young. I heard it all on the radio back then. And also the, what was it? King Biscuit Flower Hour had a Black Sabbath concert from the Heaven and Hell tour. And I remember recording that on my stereo back in the day. And yeah, and they have re-released it on some of those anniversary. I think the Heaven and Hell anniversary has like a couple songs from that show, not all songs, but you know, the King Biscuit Flower Hour didn't have the full shows either. But pretty wild, man. They were standoffish. To me, it sounds like it might have been Tony and Geezer. You know, Vinny's just happy to be there, and they said they got along with Ronnie, so yeah. But there was tension, man. You know, Black Sabbath felt like they needed a headline, and you know, I can understand at that time how it would be a great co-headliner. I can see Blue Oyster Cult headline over Black Sabbath at that time because, you know, it was Black Sabbath was brand new with Ronnie James Dio. They got to prove themselves, and you know, Blue Oyster Cult's been around for a while with no member change, so I can see how Blue Oyster Cult is more legit to headline. But hey, co-headlining is cool too, you know. And they're both beautiful albums. Martin Birch, man, 1980. Wow, those two. They're my favorite album with Dio, Sabbath, and my favorite Blue Oyster Cult album, Cultosaurus Erectus. That is massively awesome. I wish I could have seen that. You know, I know on the Black and Blue movie, I had Divine Wind was played, and but I don't think anything else was played from Cultosaurus except for that Marshall Plan video. But man, I would have loved to have Black Blade in the movie, or Unknown Tongue if they even played it back then. But yeah, man, wow, there was tension. What a bummer. But hey, it happened, it was filmed, and some of us have it. And I'm sure you can probably see this on YouTube. Not sure. But I want to thank you all, and leave your comments below what you feel about the movie Black and Blue, or what you feel about Heaven and Hell, Cultosaurus Erectus. I would love to know stuff like that. And, and I want to thank you for watching The Only News That Matters. And I hope you're subscribed. If you're not, please subscribe to my channel. Ring that little notification bell. And in case you are subscribed, please check to see if you're still subscribed, because people say they're getting unsubscribed for no reason. So please, if you're unsubscribed, please subscribe again, because I miss you. And everybody out there, like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.